Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I'll be going over a report from Mike Garafolo that said that the Washington Commanders told Kliff Kingsbury they'll do what they need to do to get the quarterback that he wants. So we'll talk about that and some other trade rumors for the Washington Commanders possibly going up to one to get Caleb Williams. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well, and comment down below right now who you want the Washington Commanders to draft at 2. It really helps out the algorithm a ton. Alright, so let's get right into it. I was going to make this video about a week ago, but the file got corrupted and wasn't able to post it. And we had a bunch of news in the last few days going over coaching news and other stuff. So made a bunch of videos going over the recent coaching moves. So make sure you guys check them out. I really am liking the staff, but obviously we got to wait and see how they, perform this off season and really how they get these players ready to play on Sundays and whatever Thursdays and Mondays when they play. But let's get into this report. So it's about a 2-minute video, about like 5 days ago, February 11th. And Mike Garafolo says, I'm told Washington also communicated to Kingsbury, we'll do as much as we can to get the quarterback that you want. I saw a report that Magic Johnson might have said that. And then obviously, Adam Peters probably told him we're going to try to get the quarterback you want. Dan Quinn probably told him as well. I think Kliff is going to have some input on who the next quarterback is. Obviously, at the end of the day, Adam Peters is the one making the final decision, but he is going to take into account what Kliff Kingsbury says because he is the offensive coordinator. It's going to be his scheme. So, you want to draft the best quarterback regardless, but also if it's totally not a scheme fit with that quarterback, or if you can't adapt the scheme towards him, then maybe that lowers him a little bit on your board. But usually you just draft the best quarterback regardless, and I think that's what they're going to do. But if Kliff really likes a specific quarterback, I think they're going to try to move up and get one. And the one that he probably likes the most is Caleb Williams, who he coached at USC, also coached Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, as everyone knows. He even mentioned a little bit in his press conference. He's looking for a quarterback that's like Mahomes. And of course, the biggest comparison Caleb Williams gets is Patrick Mahomes. And obviously, he's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. No one is. But you can see a lot of Patrick Mahomes in Caleb Williams. But there's also other questions with him as well. And the biggest question is, he's going 1. He's, 90+% chance that he is going 1. There's a slight chance the Bears stick with the number 1 pick and take someone else and stick with Fields, but that's a very low chance. I think 10 or less. The only chance that we have besides that of getting hopefully not Fields, knock on wood, the only chance we have of getting Caleb is trading up to that number 1 spot, and that is going to take a lot. Adam Schaeffer says, speaking of Washington, it doesn't feel like they're inclined to give up what it'll take to get one. That's what he said, but also Ian Rappaport mentioned that the Bears would need a historic haul to trade out of the number 1 spot, but the Commanders are expected to look into moving up from number 2, and he's mentioned that many different times on different videos and platforms that he thinks the Washington Commanders are at least going to check in and attempt to move up to 1. And that tells me Caleb Williams is their number 1 quarterback. I don't care what they say when they end up making the draft pick at 2 and they take Drake May or Jaden Daniels. They wanted Caleb Williams. And I don't think that's necessarily the only reason they brought in Kliff Kingsbury. Honestly, it's probably not a huge reason, just because they don't think there's a chance, or they don't think there's a high chance, but even if there's that little chance that they can reunite them, I think that played into it as well. But also, I think the fact that he just worked with college quarterbacks and, in Caleb Williams, and worked with Kyler Murray right when he came into the league, worked with Patrick Mahomes in college. He's worked with young quarterbacks in the past, so he's going to work with whatever young quarterback they get, and I think that's a reason, part of the reason why they hired him is because he can work with young quarterbacks, college / guys that are coming right into the league, and did that with those 3 guys that I mentioned, and will hopefully do that with Jaden Daniels or Drake May, because I think that's who it's going to be at the end of the day, one of those 2 guys, and it seems like Jaden Daniels is moving up draft boards and Drake May is moving down a little bit. That's just what I've seen, definitely from the middle of the college season. Almost everyone was saying it's Caleb and Drake, and then we'll see after that. But Jaden Daniels, the last month or two, has really been moving up the boards, and I've seen a lot of mocks where he's number 2 and Drake's the 3rd quarterback off the board to the Patriots, or maybe a little bit down the line. But real quick, and a huge shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video and the entire 2023-2024 season on this channel. They've got a great new deal where you get 125% bonus, not only on your first deposit, but your first 3 deposits. It's a great deal. They're very reliable. They've got a great customer service. There's so many different sports to bet on. And right now, a little bit of a dead period in the NFL. There's no NFL season and there's no NBA currently for All-Star Weekend, but you still got college basketball that you can bet on. You got soccer right now, and it's really easy to navigate. You just go on their site, you go to the sport you want to bet on, or you can just look here at last minute bets and you can click on the game. So let's say you want to bet on Brentford versus Liverpool, which is happening tomorrow. You can go there and you can look at all their different props. So Liverpool is -150. You can bet on them. Brentford +340. So many different props that you can bet on in this game. 2-team total game, alternate lines, so many different things. And there's a bunch of advanced stuff here as well if you want to check them out. And then obviously NBA is coming back up pretty soon, and baseball starting March Madness. I'm very, very excited. Make sure you guys check them out, and as usual, bet. All right, so back to the video again. Huge shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this season, this past NFL season. Going back to it, I think it's interesting that, they did tell Kliff Kingsbury they're going to do what they, need to do to get his quarterback, because, at the end of the day, obviously he's going to have input, but Adam Peters is the one who should be making the decision. He's the general manager. He's the guy that he was our number 1 candidate, a lot of teams' number 1 candidates for the GM job, and we got him. So Kliff should get some input, and he's probably going to be watching film, and he'll probably be like, okay, this guy would be great for my scheme. This guy will not be. Or if this guy's our quarterback, might have to switch a little bit, switch the offense up a little bit. Okay, that makes sense. But Adam Peters is the one who should be making the final decision, along with Lance Newmark, the assistant general manager, and some of the other people that Adam Peters trusts. And obviously Dan Quinn should have a little bit of input too, and Kliff Kingsbury. But the guys that are having the most input should be Adam Peters. Really, just Adam Peters should have the most input for sure. But I do like we have a lot of good offensive minds that have been in the league for a while. You got Anthony Lynn, who, has been in the league for a while, helped develop. I think he was there with Herbert, right? You got Brian Johnson, who was there with Dak at Mississippi State, Kyle Trask at Florida, and got those guys drafted. Kyle Trask in the 2nd, and then Jalen Hurts in Philly. So he did a good job there with, as quarterback coach, maybe not as an offensive coordinator, but that's not what he's going to be here. Even though he's assistant coach, I think that's more for the title to make it look a little bit better for him to maybe, eventually get a head coaching job. So I think we have some good minds in there to potentially help him develop, or, to maybe even find the quarterback. Like, these guys will know what to look for in a quarterback, to look for in a young quarterback especially. Dan Quinn's been in the league for a while. He's been around some young quarterbacks. I think he was in Seattle with Russell Wilson. Obviously, had nothing to do with him, was a defensive coordinator, but he was around, obviously. And then Kliff with Patrick Mahomes, Caleb Williams, and Kyler Murray. Anthony Lynn with Justin Herbert, Brian Johnson with those other guys. So a lot of experience in this room. I don't think it's too much experience. I know some people think it's too many, big personalities and guys have a lot of experience in one room. I don't believe that. I think they'll do fine, and I think it'll help them pick the right quarterback. And if that means trading up for, Caleb Williams, I'm personally fine doing that, as long as you're not giving up a ton, because it is only one spot. And I think this quarterback class is good enough to where you're taking the number 2 quarterback, you're still chilling. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.